right, everybody. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to go over how to paint your 3D prints in a couple of different ways that you can go about it. All the way from a rattle can to airbrushes, we're going to take a look at a couple of different ways to paint your 3D prints. Now, if you've ever looked at airbrushing and thought, man, that's a whole thing that I'm going to have to learn and do all of that, I thought the same thing and went through that same thing, but I think I found a really cool and effective way for us to use it as the average maker. Now, giant disclaimer here, if you're a professional painter, I'm about to waste a whole bunch of your time. Thank you for the view, but you can leave now. I don't think that you're going to find a lot of use out of this video. If you've been intimidated by airbrushing or doing any of that stuff and thought that the only thing that you can do is use a rattle can, then today's video is perfect for you. So again, if you're a professional painter, you know how to airbrush and all of that, I'm probably going to waste a whole bunch of your time. In today's video, I'm going to go over the benefits and features and everything of a rattle can, a dual action airbrush, and what I think is the magic bullet for us, which is a single action airbrush. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the differences between those and the workflow that I currently have adopted and have been using for about a month now. So if all that sounds good, then sit back and relax and I'll get everything ready. All right, so let's talk about rattle cans. You know, these are really great for fast, simple, no equipment, but really for big parts, quick coverage, and you kind of have to do this outdoors because the smell and the chemicals and everything are a little bit too much to do inside. So where they fall apart is, controlling that massive spray on a little tiny 3D printed part might be a challenge. It's hard to do light coats consistently without orange peel running or overspray everywhere. And if you want to have a whole lot of colors for this, the cost of all of these rattle cans can definitely add up. Plus, if you have to do this outside, then the weather has to be nice enough for you to do it outside. So it needs to be warm enough with no wind and all of that. So, the big takeaway here is they're great for quick coverage, but not great at repeatable results. All right, so as we're going to talk about airbrushing at, any level here, you have to start with the air compressor for that. And there are purpose-built ones and everything like this. This is the one that I have, the top one right here. I think that's probably a bit more than what you need, and I think this $95 one would be sufficient for most of what we're going to talk about today. Not a recommendation, but I have been using this no-name brand one, and it has been great for what I've been using it for. So let's talk about the first type of airbrush that you can get. And this is the kit. This is the specific kit that I got with this air compressor and a dual action airbrush. And this is great if you really need the control of the airbrush. And I even got a nicer one of these dual action airbrushes, this Galeri one as well. And these are great for the maximum control. If you're going to do gradients or shading or tiny details or model level finish, then this is definitely the one to get. But there is a giant caveat with that. There is a big learning curve with these dual action airbrushes. I thought, learning curve, I can learn things pretty quickly and get through it. And for the most part I can, and I got decent enough with this. But with these like paint cups and everything, even with this one, like the cleanup process and the setup process and all of that, if you're not doing this every single day, then it kind of becomes a kind of a setback. You know, if you really wanted to learn, you know, all of the things that make it kind of hard are you're having to coordinate pressing down for air, pulling back for the paint, controlling your distance, angle, and speed. So there's several things that you have to control at once to get it done. And you could totally do that with a lot of practice. But the thing that kept me away from this is just the setup time and the cleanup time, and all of that wasn't you know, conducive to really getting past that learning curve, or really wanting to get back to doing that learning curve. Cleaning all of this stuff out and all of that was a bit of a chore. So I didn't enjoy using these dual action airbrushes. If you do, you know, want to try this every day, and you really do want those gradients and shading and control and maximum control, then this is definitely the way to go. And you know, a dual action airbrush and a really good air compressor are what you need. I would not use your shop air compressor. It's probably way too much PSI. I would get one of these purpose-built air compressors. I'll leave links for all of this below. But key takeaway, if you just want clean, consistent coverage, it can be overkill. All right, so this is the airbrush that I have been using over and over and have been thoroughly enjoying it. It is easy to use, and it's just a single action. So all you do is set one spray on this thing, and you push the button and it sprays out very consistently, and you can adjust the tip of it to, you know, be finer, you know, tuned, or, you know, a larger spray pattern or whatever. So that takes away the having to hold down how much air pressure you need and pulling back for how much paint you need, which is super duper hard on the dual action airbrushes. So this one is just kind of point and spray type of thing. And the big thing that I like about this is this little jar right here. So with that little jar, it makes it easy to change out all of the different paints and everything like that. This gives you way more control than a Rattle-Can. It's much easier to use than a dual action airbrush, but it still gives you that smooth airbrushed finish. It can give you those even coats, put primer and all of that stuff on there and everything like that. So I talked about the cleanup process and everything with the dual action, you know, airbrush, and this one you have to clean up as well. But these little jars are the trick here. I bought a whole set of these jars for, you know, pretty inexpensive, and now all of the different paints that I have, I can put in these little jars, and then I have this little mixer that you set that on and it mixes it up, and they're ready to go right away. And I have in one of these jars the airbrush cleaner. So I can paint with one jar, drop it off the bottom of it, gets connected right here, and I'll go into the old studio and I'll show you this workflow here in a minute. But you basically just, you know, plug in one color, take it out, put the airbrush cleaner in there, blast that through the nozzle, get your next jar of clear or whatever color that you're using, and then, you know, plug that into the bottom and you're good to go. Whenever you're done, you just spray the airbrush cleaner through there, and then I just drop this in a jar of airbrush cleaner and keep it in there and pull it out, spray, and, you know, get right to town on it. And I'll show this here in just a minute, but this makes it way easier to use this. I'm not airbrushing every day. It's, you know, whenever I need it, and this makes it way easier to do. This is a little bit spendy for an airbrush, but if you want that buy once, cry once, and this is the thing that you need, This is definitely the airbrush that I think most makers that are not professional airbrush artists will need. And even if you are a professional airbrush artist, this is great for your primer coats and quick coverage and everything, but you probably already knew that. If you're a professional at this, you probably know about single and dual action airbrushes. But for the average folks like myself and you, this is an easy way to get into airbrushing. You can also see with the amount of colors that I can get for, just the price of a couple of cans of, couple of rattle cans. I have a ton of different colors here, and this is just one set that you can get. Master Airbrush, I think, has a better set of these that you can get as well, but definitely starts to become a lot more cost effective whenever you start to add up all of the different colors and everything that you can get very easily here. Then you just keep them in the little jars, use your little mixer to mix it up before you use it, and I'll show this here in just a minute, and you're ready to go. One thing to not overlook, even if you're not wanting to paint like a whole bunch of different colors and stuff, one thing that's cool here as well is you can just do a gloss coat over your prints as well. And that can be very beneficial for adding a little bit of extra, gloss to your prints, a little bit different texture or whatever, or that extra special little touch or whatever. So don't forget about adding like a gloss coat to your 3D prints to make them a little bit, to make them look less like 3D prints, to be honest. And just simple gloss coats can do that for you as well. So let's jump into the old studio and let me show you this little airbrush and just how easy it is to use. All right, so as I was saying before, these dual action airbrushes, what makes them hard is you have to push down for how much air you need and then pull back for how much paint, control how far away from it, your angle, all of that, and then these things are crazy to clean. What's way better is this one, because all I have to do is put this little jar on here. Now that I have the jar on there, it's just point and spray basically. So, I have these little things that I can practice spraying on. And as you can see, very easy to get some consistent coverage on your 3D print right away. And then cleanup is easy. All I do is put this little jar of the airbrush cleaner on there, put it in my jar, clean it out, and I'm good to go. All right, that's gonna do it for us today. Hopefully you learned something between the differences in a rattle can and airbrushing, and don't see airbrushing as intimidating as it was for me in the past. If you did enjoy today's video, be sure to smash the like button so other people can learn something from the video as well. If you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button and help me get to 10,000 subscribers. I really would appreciate it. So I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend and a happy new year. I'll see everybody on the next live stream. Thanks for watching.